We arrived in one of the most extraordinary towns in Europe, Sighisoara. For me, this return carried special meaning because I first visited here in 1977. At that time, Romania was still under communist rule. Travel felt different, the buildings were more worn, and much of Eastern Europe still seemed hidden behind another political world. Returning now, after so many decades, I was able to see something rare. Not just a beautiful old town, but the passage of history itself. High above the modern streets rises the medieval citadel of Sighisoara, one of the best preserved fortified towns in Europe. Founded in the 12th century by German-speaking settlers known as the Transylvanian Saxons, it was built to guard trade routes and strengthen this frontier region of the Hungarian kingdom. What makes Sighisoara so remarkable is that it was not simply a town, it was a corporate fortress. The city was divided among powerful craft guilds: shoemakers, tailors, tanners, blacksmiths, rope makers, tinsmiths, and many others controlled production, regulated quality, fixed prices, trained apprentices, and dominated commerce across the region. But they also had military duties. Each guild was responsible for building, maintaining, and defending its own tower. If enemies approached the walls, a shoemaker might put down his tools, pick up a crossbow, and run to defend the shoemaker's tower. A tailor would do the same for the tailor's tower. Commerce and warfare were woven together. The richest guilds gained enormous influence. Over time, their leaders became the city's political elite, serving as judges, council members, and mayors. In medieval Sighisoara, economic power became political power. Several of the towers still survive today, rising above the pastel roofs and narrow streets. The most famous is the clock tower. Built in the 14th century, it guarded the main gate and became the symbol of the city. Its colorful roof and commanding height still define the skyline. But the clock itself hides another layer of history. It does not simply tell the time. 7 carved wooden figures represent the days of the week, personified as Roman gods such as Mars, Mercury, and Venus. Even in this Christian citadel, echoes of the classical world continued to mark the passing of time. Another surviving tower, the tinsmiths' tower, still bears scars from the siege of 1704. Sighisoara is also linked forever to one of Europe's most famous names. Vlad Țepeș, later known as Vlad the Impaler, was born here in 1431. He spent the first years of his life in the citadel, in a house now known as Casa Vlad Dracula. His father, Vlad II, belonged to the Order of the Dragon, a knightly order created to defend Christianity against Ottoman expansion. From this came the name Dracula. In Romanian, the word came to suggest both dragon and devil. That double meaning helped blur history into legend. Shortly after leaving Sighisoara, young Vlad was sent as a hostage to the Ottoman court to guarantee his father's loyalty. Many historians believe that brutal early experience helped shape the ruler he later became. Yet here in Sighisoara, his life was still in its only relatively peaceful chapter. Beyond the walls are other hidden stories. There is a small Gothic church often known as the Lepers' Church, because sufferers of leprosy were not allowed inside the city or church itself. An exterior pulpit was built so they could hear the gospel from outside. It is a quiet but powerful reminder of how medieval society mixed charity, fear, and exclusion, and still the city lives on. This is not an empty monument. Sighisoara is considered the last inhabited medieval citadel in Europe where ordinary daily life continues inside ancient walls. People still live in houses that are centuries old. Some families are said to descend from those who lived here generations ago. Laundry dries beside medieval stone. Children walk lanes once patrolled by guards. Cats sleep under walls built for war. That continuity gives the city a feeling few places can match. Walking here, one senses not only preserved history, but inhabited history. When I first came in 1977, the streets were quieter and more faded. Today, many facades are restored, cafes welcome visitors, and travelers arrive from around the world. Yet the essential atmosphere remains. The same towers, the same steep lanes, the same view across the hills of Transylvania. Many cities preserve buildings, few preserve memory. Sighisoara does both. For us, returning here was one of the deepest experiences of our journey through Romania. Not because it is grand, not because it is dramatic, but because in Sighisoara, the Middle Ages never entirely ended.